You've announced you're rebranding the party, but it's going to take more than cosmetic tinkering, isn't it, to get that crucial breakthrough to get electing MPs to Westminster and breakthroughs in local government.
Yeah, I mean, in European elections, we've done it, haven't we? We've come second across the entire United Kingdom in a Euro election. So we know that when there's PR and when Europe's on the tin, we can do very well. You're absolutely right. You know, getting a big breakthrough in first past the post politics in England is a very hard thing to do. But I would suggest that if you examine the numbers and look at the progress we're making through local elections, through county, district and unitaries, we're not there yet, but we're on the right road.
It's not huge, though, in local government, isn't it? There's a risk that people will vote for you in European elections which they don't think are important. When it comes to trusting you to run the country, they're not interested.
Well, what the polls are showing is this, that massive gap that used to exist between our Euro election scores and our general election scores, that gap is narrowing. And indeed, just since 2010, the last general election, you know, we're more than 3 times the level we were in the opinion polls. So people are beginning to trust us more, and they are understanding that we don't just talk in UKIP about who governs Britain, vital though that question is. We're also talking about how that Britain should be governed, and so we've got a big, broad agenda. And I think, well, you know, when we talk about fisheries or wind farms, I mean, these are issues that in the southwest are huge, and we're the only party there with a distinctive voice.
So you'd like to see your representatives not always trying to link everything to Europe?
Well, I think we'd look rather obsessive if we did. I mean, after all,
that's quite a lot, doesn't it?
Well, only 75% of our laws are made by Brussels, so we mustn't over-exaggerate it, must we?
Cornwall's already received approaching £1 billion in European aid, probably about to get a lot more money from Europe. If you'd been running the country, it would have got none of it.
Well, the point about Cornwall, of course, is it doesn't just get money, it also pays money in. And the net for the southwest, the net for your television region, is that the taxpayers in that area pay far more into
Europe
about
Cornwall's,
than we get back.
How Cornwall's benefited specifically?
Well, Cornwall's had some money back from the European Union, but it's also lost its entire...
Which has helped to build the Eden Project, the university, provide super-fast broadband.
Have you been to Newlyn lately?
Yes.
What used to be the biggest fishing port in England, it is being destroyed by membership of the European Union. Things have become so bad that British fishermen now are only allowed to catch 7% of the Channel cod quota. So we may well have got some money back from Brussels to spend on
projects, would have been written off
to spend on projects that indeed many taxpayers in Cornwall would probably not have chosen to spend the money on. But the point is, Cornwall's traditional industries have been destroyed by EU membership.
So there would have been no question of that money being offered domestically, for instance, if you were in government?
Well, that's very difficult to say, isn't it? Because if we weren't stuck inside a European Union, then we would have regional funding in this country to help the poorer areas. We always used to have that before we were part of a European Union, and there's no reason why we can't. But the fact is this, you know, Cornwall has lost its fishing industry. It's seen many things like dairying, you know, really be messed about by European rules. And now what is happening, in order that we can meet some CO2 reduction targets agreed to in Brussels, Cornwall is being despoiled by ghastly wind farms.
Cornwall's probably about to get another £300 million from the European Union. Should it be saying, no thanks?
Well, I've no doubt that if it gets some more money from the European Union, more fat cats in quangos will get even more salaries, and the odd building will get built.
You think that's all it was used for?
Well, I think an awful lot of money that comes back from Europe actually gets very badly spent and wasted, yes.
And you think that's the case in Cornwall?
I think it's the case across the whole of the country. And indeed, if you look at money that comes back to help Cornwall, most of it gets recycled through an office in Bristol, and they take a 10% commission out of the middle of it. So, you know, Bristol's a long way from Cornwall. I am not convinced that just because 1 or 2 parts of England get a little bit of money back from the European Union, that it's worth the country as a whole putting £53 million a day as a membership fee to this club.
You define yourself against the political establishment, but do you think you could do with a little bit of the organisational skills of the traditional parties?
I mean, I've always said that in the early days, UKIP was a complete shambles. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It was a DIY political party. We hardly had anybody with any experience of running campaigns.
Is that completely history now?
We are much more professional than we were. We've still got further to go, but we're much, much better than we were. And I would say that you are seeing a party that is professionalising, that is getting better at what it does. But don't underestimate our dislike of the established political class. You know, our feeling is the country's been taken over by a bunch of college kids whose views on the economy, whose understanding of how ordinary people live their lives is just about zero.
Have you possibly set yourself any kind of deadline and said, if I don't manage to get a UKIP MP into the Commons or a major breakthrough in local government, step aside and let somebody else have a try?
No, I haven't. And I mean, I came back as leader on November the 5th in 2010. I'd done it before. I took a short break out and nearly killed myself doing that. I've been back since the end of 2010. We've made great progress since that time. We're more than 3 times in the opinion polls where we were on that day. It hasn't yet led to the big breakthroughs in local government. At the end of my time as leader of UKIP, that is what I'll be judged by. I promise you this, I haven't finished yet.
Nigel Farage, thank you very much.
Thank you.